beautifuls and beloveds, happy New Year's. How you doing? All my dance warriors out there. So let me give you some dance warrior encouragement right off the top of the year. Look at this. No, I'm not going to flash you anything inappropriate, but I am going to show these beauties off. Look at that. It's kind of hard to see. We already did a test shot, and the lighting is like really good, very, very professional, but you know, it's not side lit. So I mean, we have that too, but look at them abs working it, and this is like almost completely flat. I measured it. I have, see that? That is like less than a quarter of an inch less. And I'm like so jazzed. I didn't get fat, obviously. Look at my photos throughout the whole year, but you know, I couldn't do any exercising or any dancing for a long time because of the accidents that we all sustained. So I'm getting back into shape slowly but surely. And yeah, I wanted to show that off. Not that it makes me something better than anybody else, but I worked hard, and you know, let me encourage you too. I had a spinal cord injury, and the best thing you can do, now check with your doctor, don't just take my advice, but you could say, hey, I heard this girl talking about, you know, what she did with her spinal cord injury. I had to strengthen my core to help heal and support, mostly to support my spine. And I'm getting there. I am still in a lot of pain, but I just grin and bear it. Not fun, but you know, I'm not going to stop my life because of this. I'm not going to stop what I'm doing because of this either. Excuse me. So happy New Year, everybody. We had a very quiet, beautiful, calm New Year's. We watched a little bit of the older TV shows that we have on DVD, and fell asleep for a few hours, appropriately somehow woke up 15-20 minutes before midnight, rang in the new year, and went back to sleep. Not every year is going to be a party or filled with glamour, and we're fine with that. It's just nice sometimes just to, you know, take it all in and start calmly. So that is our theme for this year, calm. And if anybody tries to inject, and everybody should do this actually, not a New Year's resolution, just something that you want to set as a standard for your new policy for the year. And I'm doing the calm thing, my whole family is actually. And if anybody should try to disturb it, we are either turning them over to the government, the police, writing reports up on them, or we're going to pass them to attorneys for them to handle. Pretty easy. You might get hung up on if you're not calm with us. So you guys do understand my hyperbolic, am I saying that right? The hyperbole that I use in my humor, I hope. Whatever. Some people are just like, oh, you know exactly what I meant. But anyway, so there's much love starting the new year. And like always, I am raw, real, uncensored. I really don't take any BS from anybody. This is supposed to be worn this way. I made this in the cute. Sometimes I have a longer fuse with various people though, because I choose to. I wanted to talk to you about a couple things that should motivate and help, excuse me, a lot of you dancers out there. Now, look, everybody gets old. Everybody ages and gets older. You know, I'm one to think that age is something that's reflected from the heart outwards. And I've noticed how can I say, the more bitter a person is, if they don't have Christ in their lives, because everyone's going to feel bitterness at some time. It's just going to happen. And it can last for, what, a second, 2 minutes, 2 months, 2 years, whatever. It's how you deal with it, right? And it's what you choose to do with it in your heart, because you can wear it on your body and your face. It turns up as stress lines and indentations, because I've noticed a lot of people that when they get bitter, they're furrowing their brows a lot. Now, it doesn't mean if everybody's furrowing their brows they're bitter. it could just be a thought habit, because I was doing that a lot. When I'm getting very introspective, I'll, I have a lot of nerve damage in here, so I can't do it a lot anyway, which I guess is a good thing in a sense, because if I don't want to get wrinkles here or whatever, right? I guess it's a permanent Botox treatment, huh? So anyway, you want to be careful how you wear your body. And before I get to what I want to talk about, I just thought of something really interesting. What if somebody else had your body? They would wear it differently, wouldn't they? Because it's the human soul that dictates what's happening here to the skin and on the outside. So somebody else who might not have the Lord in their lives might have a lot more distress in their lives because they don't understand spiritual peace. Or maybe they don't do yoga and they don't understand that spiritual peace and calmness that you can get from doing yoga. Or, any kind of higher power or religion or something that you put somebody else in charge in that sense. And my point is that somebody else is going to wear your body differently. I love to look at faces and study them, not only to look at beauty and handsomeness, but to see, maybe I can tell what they've been through based on the etchings of their faces, right? It's very interesting. And so I thought, well, what if somebody else had somebody else's body? Now, don't get any cute ideas, corporations, and think that you're going to do total body transplants and skin transplant. Stop with the science fiction already. I know it can be done, but, should you do it? I don't think so. I think it's very sacrilegious and very disgusting. For a skin graft for somebody who has suffered deep scars and something like that, and they're still alive, let that person decide what they want to do, But what if somebody else wore your face? What would it look like? It would look completely different. You would still have the same features, but the way the face creases, the happiness or lack of happiness will dictate the lines and the muscles, so your face would change. I just found that really interesting. Okay, side thought. Let me get back to what I wanted to talk about today. And I have all these notes written everywhere. And if you see me squinting, it's obviously I don't have corrective eyewear on. It triggers my migraine so bad. So I want to talk about the whole thing that happens with dancers who get a little bit older. First of all, dance until you want to stop. Don't let anybody tell you or try to suggest or persuade you to stop. If you want to do anything and you feel like people are hint dropping to get you to go a certain way and you don't want to, tune them out. And if they get to be so obnoxious they don't knock it off, you might have to sever ties with them, because we're in a free country, and in a free country, do what you want, as long as you're not stealing something from somebody else, hurting somebody, breaking the law, etc. Do I really need to say this to adults? Actually, I do, because you know what my predicament is, right? People stealing from me, these are adults. So anyway, I want to get to something, and let's just call this headline here, as if we were making, an outline. Say if somebody tells you or tries to get you. Oh, this is copyright, by the way. I'm alerting everyone who's using this and surveilling us at the moment, or using surveillance against us. Me personally, I do not give you the permission to use these words for anything. This is my copyright. So I just wrote here this. So let's just say, I don't know how this is going to show up with the light, because we have really good lighting, but we didn't light and white balance it. So something to do for next time. Okay, so say if somebody says to you, stop dancing. So I've had this happen to me. People will hint drop and say, you know what, I danced past the age of 40 and it wasn't a good idea because I didn't look as good, and etc. Well, I got news for you people who say that. Personally, I'm going to use myself as a standard. I'm looking better. My movements are getting better as I age. Will this happen with everybody? I don't know. I'm not everybody. But I'm just telling you for me. So my movement has consistently and considerably grown and gotten better. I was always a very smooth dancer, and I've had directors, producers, you know, the top people in their field and in dance tell me I was smooth. And then I've had people who were purposely telling me I wasn't, to try to, that psychological attack type of thing. And I'm like, go stick it. And we have video, and they didn't think we had video. They were trying to say, oh, we lost your video. It's like, we video record all of our performances, just in case, because we're savvy to this stuff. I said my boss was Aaron Spelling. Go figure that one out. For those of you who knew him, you really can't pull wool over my eyes. You might try to, and I might let you do it just so I can catch you doing something even worse. That's how I am. Really, I didn't tell you to do something to me in the first place. So, yeah, and we've had all these strange things, people telling me all this. And I have a lot of it documented too. And an interesting thing, it's like, who's telling you to tell me these things? Because you're full of it, number one. And number two, I don't care what you say. So, you need to have this conversation with somebody else. It's not me. And so they're saying, stop dancing. So then the other hint drops come, and let me tell you what these other hint drops were. And I'm not downplaying teachers. I've always loved my teacher. I enjoy teaching. But it's like a lot of this started to follow. Okay, before that they were saying, you need dance classes. Like what's one dance festival is trying to say, your dancers look like students in ADB in dance class. I'm like, these are professionals. I mean, we've worked with students before. Many of them. But they were good. And sometimes we'll merge the amateur dancers with the professional ones for our festival because it's just a fun community thing to do. If you don't like it, too bad. But here, this, once they found out where I danced and who trained me, they stopped doing that, And my dancers, oh, you need to take dance classes. Everybody needs to take dance classes to keep in training. I love doing it, and I still do it. But to try to use that as a reason why we can't dance in somebody's show or festival, that ain't gonna work. Anyway, respect, people. I earned it, and you know it. So anyway, people are trying to say, hint drop, like I started with dance, but now I'm gonna teach this, or so they wanted me to deflect and study another discipline. You have disciplines, different dance disciplines, and then you have other art disciplines or physical education disciplines. And I'm like, you know what, maybe I'll just add all of this to my repertoire, my arsenal. Why not? I want to be more and more educated. I want to know more and more things, and I've loved everybody who's ever taken the time to teach me something. I always give them credit too. So I was like, wait a minute, I see a pattern here. Why are you, and this is for all you other dancers too, because, you might not want to take the BS. Okay, so I was like putting all of this together, and this is a very rough outline and a flow chart, but this is how I approach a lot of my problems. Not the problems that I have, but the problems that people try to inject into my life when I'm not bothering anybody. So I know I have a very sarcastic tone, and I actually like it. So okay, so we got teacher and try another discipline, and the list goes on, and you can just imagine. And then other people like, well, get back into acting. That's mostly what you do anyway, isn't it? No, I started as a dancer and got into all this other stuff. Documented, pictures, video, proven. Just leave me alone about that already, so everyone can shut up about that. And there's nothing wrong with any of these. I love actors, I work with them, I am an actor too, I do other disciplines, and I'm being trained in other disciplines. I love all my teachers, and I thank all the teachers. They have a very hard job. And I also teach too. So I was like, okay, why? Why? Is it because you think you know how old I am? Maybe I haven't told you the truth. It's none of anybody's business how old I am. So then I got a lot of people trying to find out how old I was. And I'm very curious to know if the accidents were not also used as a means to just, you know, dig and fish for information on me and my private information. You know, and then if you have that contract signed and people sell it, it's like, but you're not supposed to sell that information to anybody. And they say, oh, it's for marketing. Well, no, I don't want to be marketed to. That, yeah, I think marketing, and please excuse me, there's some really great integral marketers that haven't done anything, you know, illegal or nasty, or, but I think that whole enterprise, that whole community is very corrupted at this point. You got to be careful, because once I start seeing my ideas and my words, and it comes from marketing, some of it too, you gotta wonder what's going on. Because I worked for several magazines and we did marketing, and I never, and nobody that I was around and worked with would ever do what was done to me and to other people's information. I'm just saying, there's so much to talk about. Oh my. Okay, let's get back on track though. So with all of these things coming at me, I'm thinking, what exactly is the point to get me to stop dancing? And then I realized with each one of these, the possibilities. So let's just say, and it's not going to happen. Okay, I will find a way no matter what is thrown my way. And, you know, if somebody purposely injures me or causes me harm, we're going to find out. And you're getting more than a lawsuit. Okay, so teaching. Let's say we got a lot of hint drops on Facebook, which is one of our company's social media. And this happened several times, and we took screenshots of it. They have suggestions for your page, and the suggestions were list yourself in a subcategory as a school. I'm like, are you crazy? That would be great. At some point, I'm not ready to do that yet. And I thought, well, if you have a brain and you look at our Facebook page, there's very little about our classes on it. We're not a school. We have a license to do certain things, an actual business license, and we do that. We are a dance, performance, entertainment, film company. Okay? Get a clue. Who's doing this? Who's making these suggestions? Is it this company? Is it the corporation who's trying to lead me a certain way? I'm curious to know. But no, we don't want to. And then, you know, we went through the whole process with Facebook getting this authenticated to show that it was our official thing. And I'm like, wait a minute. They just took it down, and you know what? They sent my husband a message using my words. I said, this is so confusing. Why are some of them blue and some of them gray? So they used those words to say why they were getting rid of everybody's gray check marks. This is confusing. Why not make them all the same color, or actually make a key code someplace so we can all understand what it is? We knew what it was, but they used my words that I said in private to my husband in a message back to my husband. I was like, okay, we have that recorded and we have a screenshot now. Busted. Alright, so we're like, why all this hint droppy thing about schools and teachers? I mean, they hear me talking. They're recording it. They know. They is just a very general term. We're not listing any corporations. I can say this about Facebook because it's very documented and they did do this publicly. But the they is maybe not referring to anybody in particular. So I'm like, they know that someday I would like to have a school. But maybe not. Maybe I'm just going to be too busy doing other things. I don't know. So I just talk about things randomly. Like everybody. I'm a normal human being. And you fantasize and you think, oh, well, maybe. I was like, I would like to. And then I'm starting to get all these hint drops with school, teacher, especially after the accident. And I'm like, no, 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 no. First of all, teaching is actually harder than performing because you're on your feet all the time. I'm not saying you can't teach from sitting down. You know, the great Martha Graham, she sat in her older years and took breaks and sat in a chair. Okay, great, that's what she wanted to do. But that's how she did her choreography. I'm basing this based on videos and her interviews, books that came authentically from her, right? So I'm like, okay, cool, but I'm not ready for that yet. That is a big headache, running one. And we did do some research, and we are planning to do it, but not yet. And it's up to us when we want to do it. And I would probably hire people and maybe just teach special workshops and special classes. To do it regularly, I can't commit to that. I can't. I did it for a long time. I loved it. It was great. But now after the accident, I have to choose what I do physically because I'm going to be in pain no matter what it is. Going for a hike, going for a walk, trying to swim, try anything, you know? So I don't know if I want to, and maybe I'll change my mind and it's my prerogative to do so, right? But I don't see this right now. But maybe I'll change my mind. I was thinking about going back to work. But, you know, it seems like somebody's been blacklisting me too, so I'm like, oh, we got several things going on at the same time. Nice. But, you know, maybe I do want to do it, maybe I don't. The point I'm making is that I got a lot of this. And I'm like, just stop. Because you gotta consider, why are people telling me this? I know I'm getting better, my movements were getting better. I had critiques and critics saying it was getting better. I had people who actually are not trying to do harm to me, telling me the truth. I mean, everybody has something to improve, and they told me what to improve. And I keep improving. So I'm not getting worse. And I was like, well, you have to consider the source. Are they jealous because they were getting worse and they put on the weight and they couldn't do it anymore? I'd hate to think that, but you know, that there's some of that too. So I don't, you know, say what you want to, it's a free country, but, you know, you keep saying that to me, I'm going to cut you off because I don't need that negativity in my life. You have all this women's empowerment thing, and this is coming from a lot of women, and it's just like, you know what, real women do help one another and lift one another up. They don't call each other names and trying to get them to quit doing stuff. It's like, what the heck? I have a lot of problems with people doing that to anybody. And anyway, so this is what it is here. It's just a lot of BS, right? And then let's go to this too. Let's just say I did the teacher thing, and we did find out some of the source. So let's say you're going to find this very interesting. I did. A corporation, any of them, want me to be a teacher. Let's say I get 10 students. This corporation then takes these 10 students, can you see this? And because I have a name for myself and I'm damn good, you multiply that by 10, and guess what? This becomes the corporation's profit. And they use these 10 people as their prop-ups. You've heard me talk about this before. You know, meanwhile, they've been controlling my career all along. I never signed up for that. I'm pretty darn sure my agent, whoever it was at the time, didn't sign me up for that. And if they did, they're going to have one hell of a legal matter. So I'm like, you know, fine for other people, but I don't want to do this to do this. I'm not trying to be selfish or anything, but I never got this. Why should I take all my beauty and turn them into little me's for the corporations to make money? Now, it's different if it's not a corporation that's, you know, trying to set all this up and it's done organically. Why does it matter to me? Because I am not here put on God's earth to make these corporations money. Okay, you see this pen? No more am I supporting any corporation unless they pay me. I used to do it freely and help because, I thought, well, I'm generous. And I'm like, I'm not giving my power away, my time away, and my money away anymore. And because I am so savvy to this, and I'm stopping, and I'm not letting them guilt me into, oh, you're a bad Christian now, I'm not. No more. No more. They don't like it, so they try to suppress me more. And this is what's happening. This is the reality. I'm getting kudos from a lot of people for my research. So I've got more notes here. Hold on. Okay, so let's look at it this way. We're in World War III right now. Not officially. I'm not speaking on behalf of the president or the government, but let's look at it. They say that quote that World War III was going to be fought with sticks and stones. BS. That's a nice little redirect. Yeah, focus on that. Focus on nuclear threat. Meanwhile, you got corporations rising up, and it's all an act of World War III. Digital. If you think about it, look what's happening. Our websites are being attacked. We have evidence of it, and we send it to the government. We have our email being mined as well. So there's an M and an N, mimed and mined, and broken into, and all these horrible things happening. That's an attack. If you look on the FBI's site, they list all this stuff. I'm not making it up. We did research. We were directed to certain places. Okay, so what if World War III, let's talk about hypothetics now, is indeed upon us, and it is a corporate war. What is it for? It is for data, intellectual property, which is IP. There's a lot of things that IP stands for, so just be careful when you're reading things. It's also for territory. We saw some interesting things when we drove down to the OC recently. And this territory has different ways of showing up. It could be digital territory. I'm going to put digi here. It could also be for actual land territory. It could be for breaking into other corporations and putting their people in other places to do a Trojan horse effect. Think about it. How did the people, old military in history, how did they take over a country? They infiltrated it very slowly, as a friend, as a wolf in sheep clothing, until they populated or repopulated the entire area, or enough in which to take over. And then those companies are dissolved, or they're bought out by the bigger entity. You know who they are. Just look at who's been buying what. Most likely, they had their people in there, in that company, long ago, and was just setting things up until they worked their way up, and they're board members or something. Or they worked their way into the marketing department. Shoot. I'm not saying I'm doing this. I don't do this. I don't have enough time. We don't have enough people. But if I were to take over a company, this is where I would go first. Get a hold of marketing. Because that is your outreach to the world. That's your influence, right? That's why we do all of our own marketing, and we work with a very integral company that is not involved in any of this. I won't tell you how I know. Let's say they're just very near and dear and close to our hearts. But, right, you take over somebody's marketing, and then their company is gone. So that's why we maintain control. I don't think getting big is better. As far as how many number of people. We've grown our product, we've grown our vessel, we've grown everything.